on your breath, how the dream goes through your head. Still the kid that doesn't like the
Hey there YouTube, it's Kurt here. And today I'm going to review the album called Pink Season. It's by Pink Guy. And if you don't know who Pink Guy is the persona created by Filthy Frank. And he's an active YouTuber and decides to make an album that's full of mostly unserious / like troll music. So the first thing I want to say about this album is that I thought this album was actually pretty friggin' hilarious. Like, if you don't understand like trolling is gone from beyond the point to just pissing people off to the point where I think trolling is actually becoming sort of its own art form. Well, in the sense that you say the most outlandish shit, and you say it with the intention of pissing off as many groups at once, like pissing off pretty much the whole of society. So really, the offense becomes sort of ironic because you end up pissing off people that are at both ends of the spectrum, and they're actually pitted against each other. So it becomes a form of distraction actually for that group, and ends up being ironically a form of unity when they both hear it and they're both pissed off because they both are united by their hatred for this one common aspect. And that's why trolling has its place. So first off, I'll get into the more nitty-gritty of it. With songs like Gays for Donald. What takes one group, it can probably piss off the far left by just saying that a gay can advocate for Trump, but then pissing off the far right by being so entirely vulgar. And picturing all these aspects of just vulgar, extreme gay acts with Trump. It's so ridiculous and it's so outlandish, and nobody's really ever done that specifically before. So that's one reason why it is a genuine contribution to the art community, is because of how absurd the whole thing is. Absurdness is a huge part of art. So we see this in that track, things like "White is Right." It's not advocating for that message. It's making irony out of that message, if that makes sense. So that's another track. High School Blink 193. It's a parody of Blink 182. And many other tracks. Those were some of the highlights for me that really, really made me laugh a lot. And there are other tracks. A lot of the other tracks, they are more dedicated to, well, I guess more talking about the pussy. Well, and objectifying women and just making purposefully shitty music as a form of satire. So, with all those things combined, my final score for the album would probably be about 8 out of 10. It's a solid album. And there's only really... So, hopefully all these things are taken as positives. There are creative elements in the production side that I thought were very cool. Like, he purposefully clips one of his vocal tracks to make it sound purposefully obnoxious. And he does that, I think it's in the track I Do It For My Hood. That was actually very entertaining. But yeah, more than that, those are all the positives. There's only one negative I had for the whole thing. We must be honest about it. And that's that I felt like the album might have been a little bit too long. And one of the reasons why it was long, it milked heavily on that misogynist irony. You know what I mean? The songs that say, like, hot nickel ball on a pussy. Like, when it talks about clits and cunts, it does that for like 3 to 5 songs. When really the comedic aspect I felt like could have been passed off with less time devoted to it. But making it purposefully long could have added to the trolliness of the album. And that can be a form of artistic expression. So maybe that was his intention. But either way, like, it didn't make me want to go back and listen to those parts. So I'll dock a little bit of points for that. But it wasn't anything overbearing. So overall, the album, if you guys are entertained by free speech, and I think the Filthy Frank is a guy that would highly advocate for free speech in the artistic community. Like, you can talk about things that are provocative and not necessarily be a racist or be part of the alt-right, I guess. You can genuinely talk about these things in an artistic sense and not have genuine hatred in your heart, and that's an important takeaway I think from this album. So yeah, if you guys have any of your thoughts, feel free to leave them in the comment section. That's how it works. But that's all I got. Hopefully you guys take a listen. So peace.